I've had the AMD RX 970 XT for 3 weeks now, the ASRock Taichi model specifically. After optimizing hundreds, maybe even thousands of client PCs, I know what separates a good graphics card from a great one. This $800 card has some serious potential, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Let me show you the real experience, the good, the bad, and everything AMD doesn't want you to know. So this is the ASRock Taichi 970 XT, and honestly, it's a beautiful card. The build quality is solid, triple fan design with RGB accents that actually look premium. The card is substantial but not overly massive, fits well in most modern cases. ASRock did a great job with the cooling solution here, but looks don't mean much if performance doesn't deliver. So let's get into the real stuff. Driver installation. I went with AMD's latest AMD Radeon drivers, completely clean installing using display driver installer first to remove old Nvidia drivers from my system, and I use Radeon software slimmer to debloat the drivers from things I don't want. The installation process was smooth, no issues there. AMD's Adrenaline software is actually really clean. After debloating it, you get monitoring tools and optimization settings without necessary junk. Now, here's where things get interesting. The tuning potential on this card is incredible. It does not traditionally overclock, and you have to undervolt and increase max frequency to see gains in FPS. So my undervolting results are with stock frequencies, I'm getting 1050 millivolts at boost clocks. After undervolting, it's 950 millivolts stable. That's a 100 millivolt reduction. Power limit, I maxed this out, and power consumption went down significantly while increasing performance. For overclocking results, on the memory, I was able to increase it by 400 megahertz, and it's been stable, and my memory timing set to fast timing. On the core, I was able to get 200 megahertz over stock boost. Combined with the undervolt, this thing becomes a completely different card. I recommend most Radeon users to max out the power limits if possible, as it does let the card pull more power when playing games for better FPS, but it hurts efficiency. Also recommend using the fast timing under VRAM tuning to really increase VRAM performance. Personally, I turn off the 0 RPM feature on these cards because I like my fan spinning and keeping the card cool. This level of tuning potential is why AMD cards shine for enthusiasts who know what they're doing. My card also seems to be a decent bin since it's a high-end ASRock model. Let me show you the most optimal Radeon settings I've dialed in that are pretty much universal to Radeon cards. So under Gaming tab for the graphics global settings, Radeon Super Resolution, turn that off. AMD Fluid Motion Frames, turn that off. Basically, we're turning off everything here. The only thing that's really worth turning on is probably Radeon Image Sharpening 2, which is just personal preference as it does not really hurt performance. Then if you scroll down to the bottom, tessellation mode, set that to override application settings. Maximum tessellation level, set that to off. And then texture filtering quality, make sure that is set to performance, and turn on surface format optimization. And make sure everything else looks similar to mine. Then go to display tab at the top after going to the gear icon and then display. And I recommend testing on and off versus FreeSync. I personally do not use it. However, this is my stock window, so I'm going to leave it on. Scaling mode, I recommend just setting that to full panel. And then if you're not going to be using GPU scaling, so you're not going to be using stretch resolution or just any resolution scaling, set GPU scaling to off. Then click overrides, and I like turning off HDCP support. It does help input lag a lot, but it might cause certain applications to not work if you do disable this. For display color enhancement, I set it to vivid gaming. This kind of gives you the same vibrance as the digital vibrance setting on Nvidia cards, so it's kind of the same thing as that. Now go to preferences at the top, and I like turning off everything here except the in-game overlay if you use that. I personally don't, so everything here is off. And these settings are pretty standard across AMD Radeon cards, but they make a massive difference in performance and consistency. Performance testing. This is where the 970 XT really shows its value. In Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at 1440p with stock settings, we're getting 266 average FPS. After optimizing everything, we're getting 311 average FPS. 0.1% lows went from 217 to 240 FPS. Competitive settings for Fortnite at 1080p with the new performance mode, I was reaching about 600 FPS consistently. Easily can use one of those 540Hz or 600Hz monitors depending on the game modes played. With using epic settings with ray tracing on in a reload battle royale match, I was getting 100 to 150 to 165 FPS average. The key here is proper tuning. Out of the box, the card is pretty good. With proper optimization, it's exceptional for 1440p gaming and barely falls short of an RTX 5080, which is $200 more. So this card is absolutely perfect for Call of Duty players and people who play multiple games regularly, but only if you tune it properly. For COD specifically, I get consistent high frame rates at 1440p, excellent 0.1% lows for smooth gameplay, and the 16GB VRAM handles texture streaming perfectly. Low input lag when properly configured. For multi-game players, the high clock speeds and lighter weight drivers is a game changer. You can play a variety of games with little to no issues as long as the card is configured and stable with your overclocks. But here's the harsh truth. Nvidia still beats AMD when it comes to plug and play easiness. With Nvidia, you just install the driver, launch the game, get good performance almost immediately. With AMD, you install the driver, usually spend hours tuning settings or fixing something, then get great performance. Personally, that was my case with this card. You have to put in the time to learn how to tune it. If you're the type of person who just wants to plug in a graphics card and game without tweaking anything, Nvidia is still your best bet. AMD requires work to reach its potential. And let me be completely honest about the problems I faced. Hardware acceleration, GPU scheduling issues, enabling this causes green screens on my system. So every time I restart, I just get a green screen, very weird. The Fortnite lobby would stutter extremely badly with the setting enabled. Like it would just stutter, it would freeze, and I just had to turn it off. Thank God that was the fix. I had to disable it completely for stability, as well as it improved my 0.1% lows, and it didn't really increase my average FPS as much as it should on a Nvidia graphics card. But here's the other issue. For full screen on my stock Windows install, games wouldn't properly display, and I'm using a capture card setup. This was probably be fixed with a clean Windows install, but that's exactly the problem. Plug and play users shouldn't need to reinstall Windows, and most people don't like reinstalling. Now, these aren't deal breakers, but they add up for casual users who just want things to work. So who should buy the 9070 XT? Buy it if you love tweaking and optimizing hardware, play multiple demanding games, and you want the best value for 1440p gaming and don't mind spending time in settings menu. Skip it if you want plug and play simplicity, don't want to deal with driver quirks, prefer Nvidia's software ecosystem, need maximum ray tracing performance, and play games that mostly prefer Nvidia cards. For my optimization clients who want maximum performance per dollar and don't mind the tuning process, this is the card I'm recommending. Bottom line, the AMD RX970 XT is an incredible value proposition at $800, but it comes with the typical AMD tax of requiring optimization to reach its potential, also known as it's cheaper for a reason. If you're willing to put in the work, this card will reward you with RTX 5080 level performance for significantly less money. If you want plug and play simplicity, stick with Nvidia. After 3 weeks of daily use and testing, I'm considering keeping it in my main rig. That should tell you everything you need to know about its performance when properly tuned. So what's your experience with AMD cards? Drop it down in the comments. And if you want help optimizing your AMD or Nvidia setup for maximum performance, that's exactly what I do for clients. Check the description for my optimization services because hardware is only as good as how it's configured. Like the video if this real world review helped, subscribe for more honest hardware takes, and I'll see you in the next one.